Okay, for this second video, we're going to look at how we can start editing images, bringing them into Photopea, and having a play around with loads of different images into one space. So to start with again, I'm going to go to New Project, and then use the standard size and click Create. Here we can also name our project, so I'm going to call this maybe Poster, and then click Create. All that does is when you finally save your artwork, it will download it as something called Poster here. So, to start with, I'm going to need an image that I can use to form what would be the background of my image. So at the minute I've just got this white sort of empty space. So to do this, I'm going to want to find an image. So there are many different places you can go to find images. You could just go to Google, so if I wanted a street background, maybe an empty street, and then click on images. I've got loads of different image options here. So for example, I think that one looks good. It's a nice empty street, lots of open space for me to put things inside of. So I'm going to choose this image. So to save this image, you're going to want to right click on the image and save image as. So I can now call this street empty. So when I save this, it's going to be in my downloads folder. I will give you these images, but if you want to find images of your own to use, don't spend too long trying to find images, but if you want to find a better one, that's up to you, but you'll have the images that I've downloaded and used here today. So I'm going to click save on that, and you can see it's downloaded. So if I now go back to Photopea, I have two options of bringing in this image. The first option is I can do File, Open and Place. So if I click on this, you can see all of the images that I've got downloaded in my folder here. So what I named mine was Street Empty. All you need to do is double click on this or click on it and click Open. So now we can see that my image is now in my canvas. The second option of doing this is again go into Photopea, and to sort of not have this white background, what you could do is open from computer. So you click on this and then double click on Street Empty again. And what this will do is it will create a canvas that is the right size as your image, or the same size. So you don't have this white border. So at the moment, we've got our background image with this white border. However, I don't want this white border. So to get rid of this, I could use what is called the crop tool. So again, we can right click on this to see the different options, but at the moment we're going to use the crop tool. So what we can do is click on this, and you can see here my cursor is changed into a little plus symbol. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag over my image, and now you can see this little black white outline square around my picture. When this is showing, all you need to do is press enter, and it deletes everything that wasn't inside of that square that we drew. So now my background canvas is the same size as my image, so we just have my picture. So now what we can do is we can start adding in extra images. So again, what I can do is I'm going to create a little fight scene. So I'm going to click open and place again, and I've got two characters here. So the first one I'm going to open is Captain. So just click on that and click open. So here we have Captain America. So at the minute it's just him on a white background. And you can see here we now have 3 layers. If I wish to click and drag this one below Street Empty, I can no longer see my Captain America image. Because in the layers, the picture of my street is above the image of my captain, or Captain America. So we can no longer see it. So what you would need to do if this happens, because it can happen when you import the image, that it'll put the image a layer below the image you had originally. So what you would need to do is click on this, and you can either click and drag up there, or click and drag this one and move it below Captain. So now I can see I've got 2 images. But at the moment, my image has got this really awful white background, so it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the image. So to change this, to make sure we just have Captain America, we can use what is known as the Magic Wand tool. So here, it's not selected by default. So what you're going to have to do is hover over it. So it'll be this one called Object Selection, with the little blob in the middle of the square. You're going to need to right click on this and click the magic wand tool. So now what we can do is click, except at the moment I'm not on the right layer, so it's selecting pixels from my street background. So what you need to do is make sure you've clicked on the Captain America or Captain layer here, and then you can click the white background. So what you can see here, if I zoom in, so if you go to view, zoom in, you can see the little squiggly lines it's drawn around my Captain America. So what the magic wand tool does is it selects pixels that are of a similar colour to the first one that you selected. So if I was to use the magic tool again and click the blue, it clicks all the pixels at the same shade of blue as the first one that I originally picked. So you can see how this might potentially start to cause issues when we use an image like this. For example, if we wanted to get rid of the red on Captain America's leg, it's not selecting all of the red. One, because they're not connected here, and two, because the red here, for example, is a darker red than the one here. So this is where you'd start to use maybe other tools, which I'll show you in a minute. But let's get finished on this. So I've selected all of the white on my Captain America. Now you can see here, it's selected some of the white in his shield. We don't want this. So what we can do is turn the tolerance down a little bit. So what this does is it changes how harshly it chooses the different shades of colours. So if we turn this down to 1, we can see here now, it's slightly added to the edge around Captain America, because the image itself has a little shadow around him that it's not selected anymore. But you can also see that it's no longer selected the white in his shield. So if you're having these issues, just have a little play with the numbers in the tolerance section. Maybe you need to make the number larger or smaller. But at the minute, 5, this is looking rather good because it's no longer selected the white in my shield, and it's no longer, created this rather large gap between the background and my character. So when we've done this, I'm just going to zoom out, show the full effect. We could just press the delete key. Oh, but there's another problem. So sometimes when you choose an image off Google, you might have downloaded what's called a vector image. So okay, if you don't know what that means, it just means it's done it in vectors instead of pixels. So what we need to do is right click on the layer and click rasterize. What this does is it turns everything here into pixels. So if we click rasterize, and then we can click delete. So now that you can see here, we've got our image of Captain America, except our image was a little bigger, so we can just use the magic wand tool again and delete that little white background. So this video showed you how to add images, taught you through layers, and showed you how to delete backgrounds of characters. So what I want you to do is, using the images I provided, is add these images into Photopea and delete the white background of Captain America. Okay, thank you.